For some odd reason, I can't stand. I can't stand the taste of Coke because of the stupid what is it? It's called some kind of acid. Phosphoric acid. They put a little bit too much phosphoric acid inside their Coke sometimes. I don't think Pepsi puts in that much. I don't taste it. I literally don't taste it inside Pepsi. Huh. But anyways, so a lot of things have been happening during this week. And I was thinking about turning it. Actually, I tried to do this as a video. I tried to do this as a video. And I actually ended up doing it as a video, but I think I want to turn this part into a video. Because I want to put this out there on stream. Okay? Now, I was whining and crying like a little bitch and stuff like that. Not too long ago. But I wanted to actually talk about... I know I'm going to be beating a dead horse about this. And people have moved along about it. But, it's still affecting a lot of people. Alright? And I want to make sure that, there's going to be people out there that are going to end up saying their piece and just like be this sort of like, actually this type of person. When I've had a history of dealing with people like Sinder. Okay? Now, it isn't just me that dealt with people like Sinder. Okay? It isn't just me. Okay? My entire family, including my uncles, they deal with people like Sinder. Okay? Now, here's the thing. About this. And I want to talk about this on the street. Is that in Cinder's situation, okay, a lot of the girls that are in the VTuber business, okay, the you know, Shy Lily, Bow, Silver Veil and stuff like that, they don't exactly know how dangerous Sinder actually is. Like, genuinely, they don't know how Sinder genuinely is. Very, very dangerous. Okay? We're not talking about, like, oh, public figure does this, you know, they screw up, yada, yada, yada. Maybe have a redemption arc and stuff like that. The one thing that actually proved to me that Sinder is, and I know we're going to have, like, a lot of, like, psychology experts and stuff like that. Quote unquote psychology experts. And they're like spewing out like information that's probably not true. Until you've experienced it. And even my family has experienced it. Not my immediate family, but my extended family has experienced it. And I gotta say, I do think, and in the back of my heart, I know this is a thing. Okay? Because my grandmother's first marriage kind of has people like this. So it's let me clarify about all this. My grandmother, before she passed away, she was divorced from a very abusive husband. Okay? And they were from Mexico, right? At least my grandmother is. Okay? So, the thing is that when I visited my grandparents and my extended family back in Mexico, at least one half of my extended family in Mexico, it was something that, you know, I was like, what, 13, 14 years old, something like that. So I didn't really think about it at the time. But as the years go by and stuff like that, I thought to my mom was like so proud that that you know the first half of her family was like doing so well. My mom taught me, you know, that's you know these people, like, they work so hard and stuff like that. Until I got a little bit older, okay, it wasn't until like somewhere around into my mid 30s when I really figured out and discovered that the part that first half of my family, when you get rich in Mexico, you don't do it just out of hard work. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a very rare occasion that people legitimately in Mexico do it as hard work. Genuinely. And then I visited one of my uncles from my grandmother's first marriage. And I saw all that property to myself. And I did a little bit of background research. Even though one of my cousins that was serving us or hosting us like some of the most some of Mexico's most extravagant restaurants. There is no bloody way that people can get that rich that quickly without doing some scummy ass shit. Especially that house. Looking back at my uncle's house back in Mexico, there is no fucking way that that house should have been purchasable in Mexico. No fucking way. Not unless you're part of the cartel. Not unless you're part of the cartel. And unfortunately, my uncles and my nieces and my nephews, when it came to my grandmother getting married to my current uncles and nieces and nephews and stuff like that, and aunts, they kind of got the short end of the stick. Okay, they kind of really did, because those people were actually legitimately working hard. Okay. My uncle that's still alive right now has got a trucking business. He's like one of the main head honchos in management. That's working hard. But when it comes to like Mexico and its economy and its like everything, in order to get rich quick, that rich, buying houses that extravagant in Mexico, you have to be dealing in criminal activity. Legitimately. Okay, legitimately. Now, I don't know if what was my uncle doing? I really don't know. But at the time, when a lot of like cartels and criminal organizations were like lambasting everything, because it does happen every so often, like at least once a decade, where Mexico gets like really crazy over there. Like what is it called? Popular movie people like get kidnapped. They get, you know, decapitated. All this other stuff. So, yeah, it happens like once every once every decade. For some odd reason. I don't know what it is about every decade. It's like it's like hunting season for these people. But yeah, going forward with that, I just knew that was something that was part of what happened in my family. At least, but what's fortunate for me is that I'm pretty much removed from that side of the family. Because honestly, realistically, I don't want to have anything to do with him. Realistically, I do not want to have anything to do with him. I don't necessarily have any kind of bad blood against my current extended family from my grandmother's second marriage. I really don't. But I don't exactly know, because the way that my family is right now, especially my extended family, I do believe that for some odd reason, I think my grandmother's first marriage family is trying to screw over my current side of the family. Yeah. So essentially, my current family right now, it's like, okay, I have a one dead uncle who died for drugs and stuff like that, which induced further into diabetes. But I got a uncle that's still alive right now, and unfortunately, he has been in and out of prison for a number of years. Because he was he was being like a good-hearted person, and didn't realize that he was dealing with people that were thankfully lower members of the cartel. Okay, they ended up, putting him in prison and stuff like that, yada 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 yada, and so on and so forth. Okay, these are like really low totem pole kind of guys. Uh, but when it comes to like gangs and cartels and stuff like that, so thankfully it was that. Uh, because if it was anybody higher up in the hierarchy, it would have not actually ended up being very fortunate for my uncle. So, yeah. Uh, in any case, yeah. So they screwed him over. My uncle's such a nice guy, but these people just like thought that my uncle thought that these people were his friends, like legitimately his friends. Like other good-hearted people, until they decided to go ahead and sabotage his life by planting drugs in his house. Literally planting drugs in his house. And these people are dirty. These people are freaking dirty. By a long shot. I don't exactly know why what my uncle did to them to warrant him being sent to prison. I really don't know about that. But yeah, that's one thing. And I personally, well, never really did actually get my chance to have to deal with people like that. But I actually did, and I've actually explained myself, that I dealt with somebody like Sinder in my relationship. And the reason why I'm bringing this up as to why Sinder is like the most dangerous person, one of the more dangerous people on the planet, and God forbid, okay, Sinder, the way she is right now, she has the potential to be one of the most deadliest people in the entire freaking world. I kid you not. She literally has the deadliest potential to become one of the most deadliest people on the planet. She has the potential to be a successor in a criminal organization. She has the potential to do a lot of significant damage, and so on and so forth. I mean, for all I know, she probably could join the Yakuza if she wanted to. Uh, or maybe the mob or anything like that. Because unfortunately, in Cinder's case, and I wanna address this, why I think this is okay. Because a couple of the DMs that were leaked out, there were screenshots of her cheating on her boyfriend, right? And that is the key thing that I want to express out to you. A lot of these VTuber girls, they think, oh, Cinder was doing this because greed got to her brain. No, this is a type of person that essentially ended up becoming the way she is simply because she grew up like this. She grew up learning this behavior. I want to give you pretty much a primary example. You know the guy Jack Doherty, the one who wrecked his what is it called, Hurricane on the freeway? Did y'all guys get like some sort of like strange vibe from Jack Doherty's, I think, mother? What was it, his mother? Yeah, I think it was his mother. Pretty much the same thing. Pretty much the same thing. Um, Now I don't exactly know what Jack Doherty's family actually does. I never even followed the family or anything like that. But whatever was exposed out into the public is not it is not simply the thing that people are aware, like that underneath why the way they are, right? People with that type of personality and that mindset, like Jack Doherty's mother and him himself, like that, when they get successful jobs and then when they get nobody in their right mind who gets a successful job or becomes rich like they are, they don't do it without criminal intent or they doing criminal activity and stuff like that. They just simply don't. Okay, and this is from my personal experience. Okay, and trust me, you guys think that Sinder, we're not going to hear the end of Sinder. Oh, we're going to hear the something from Sinder, but probably not in the VTuber scene. Okay, now the thing that I want you guys to understand is that Sinder will probably end up on some kind of like national news television syndicate thing, where she's probably got into like a drug raid or something like that. Okay, because in Cinder's case, when we're looking at the DMs of her boyfriend, okay, that type of mentality, being that she actually learned this, she learned it because of her family, the way she lived, right? So it was so by nature, I probably do understand that Cinder was a very good person. Probably is a very good person. But her parents probably nurtured a very, very disgusting human being to some extent. And I speak from experience because my ex was pretty much the same thing. Okay? Now, the thing is that with my ex, okay, when she had this attitude, and when I said, like, I dated her, she had, like, a mental disability, right? Not a mental disorder, a mental disability. She got her mental disability, my ex, because her father was an alcoholic and her mother was an alcoholic, okay? Even during my ex's pregnancy. So you can imagine what kind of actual brain damage my ex got with that alcoholic mother of hers and the father as well. Compounded by the fact that she grew up in an environment that was kind of like a little bit crazy, well, a lot crazy. And very, I guess you could say, unloving and certain stuff like that. So you can imagine her having a mental disability, and learning that type of behavior, thinking that this is the way that love should be, on top of the fact that because she didn't feel the love, she ended up doing things to fill the void in her heart. Okay? Very, 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 how do I say this? Toxic things that she's done. Okay? Very toxic things. But considering that she had a mental disability and wasn't as smart as Cinder, if she's able to do that much, if my ex, as I think she was legitimately medically retarded, if a person could do that much damage to a normal human being like me psychologically, guess what's going to happen to a person like Cinder? She has she has her full capacity, her full capability, and everything like that, right? She's aware of everything that does everything. But in Cinder's case, okay, she could pretty much end the careers of these VTubers completely. She literally can. But right now, she's too naive and too stupid right now, as it is right now. I think she's like in her 20s, right? Hi guys, Post-Charters Queen Dragoness Edit here, as your ADHD gets immersed in the epicness that is my massive gluttonous racing skills in the noob category, as I explain this little thing to you. Okay, so as I was going through my video, I kind of missed one little detail about people like this. And this kind of brought up my concern too, is the interaction between Sinder and Silvervale. Now, the reason why I bring this up is that there could be a degree of vengeance from this VTuber that might not that might end up having people a little bit of worrisome. Okay, now it depends on the mental state of this individual. It could be just any kind of like minor vengeance, like, oh, I don't know, sabotaging a person's what is it called, financial services behind the scenes, all the way up to considering the fact that Sinder actually has a big following. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody in her loyal group actually ended up advertising that they would put physical harm on these VTubers back behind the scenes. It would be surprising me. I don't know how far she's going to end up going, but considering that she has a big following, it would be surprising that there would be actually a few bad eggs that would help her do such a thing. Yeah, I think I just ruined somebody's plans for the future. But don't worry, I'm still looking. Did I hit a nerve with you, Sinder? I hope I did. Cause
the darkness is always watching.
And so, yeah, so she's like in her 20s. So it's like a lifelong kind of thing, right? And yeah, we're talking about Redacted too, right? But unfortunately, Redacted, because Redacted was brainwashed into Cinder's world. Okay, Redacted was brainwashed. She's so skilled at her craft that she actually brainwashed two guys. Legitimately. So it wasn't. I have honestly, I don't think I have any bad feelings toward Redacted. He got brainwashed. Legitimately. And that's how dangerous Sinder really is. People say that she's a psychopath. There is a medical definition to Cinder's condition, and it's not psychopathy. It's much worse than psychopathy. This is a person. This is a type of person that would end up taking decades to change. Now, after my relationship from my ex, who was like Sinder, my psychologist actually told me, and this is the real truth. This is my psychologist telling me like this. Okay, for a person like Sinder, in order for her to change, okay, she has to acknowledge that she fucked up, which from her apology she's not acknowledging it. Okay. Secondly, these girls do not have the patience to work with Sinder. They don't have the time to work with Sinder. Because my psychologist had told me, in order for Sinder to change back to how she was and reveal the person prior to her being nurtured into the most disgusting human being that she is right now, it takes 10 years. Minimum. I'm not even joking. My psychologist told me, in order to reverse the psychological damage and make her behave, she has to actually be on watch, willing to change. As for these girls' forgiveness, these girls have to have patience for 10 fucking years. I'm not even joking about this. That's minimum, right? This is why you hear about like all these criminals out there, right, that do some of the most crazy heinous crimes, that their minimum sentence is like 10 years. Because in order to change a person's behavior, they have to go into like some sort of like, what is it called? Behavioral reassignment kind of thing, whatever the heck that is. And sometimes some criminals in these prisons, they respond well to this psychological therapy, right? And sometimes, in rare occasions, they do get out of prison early. But the vast majority of the time, the minimum sentence in prison for some of the most egregious crimes, especially for something that Cinder's going to get into, is going to take a minimum of 10 years. That is the damn truth, people. That is the fucking truth. This is coming from my psychologist. So, yeah, that's but the thing about it is that when Sinder comes back, and this is something that my ex's mother told me. Okay? Now, at this point in time, my ex's family has actually disowned her. She has no friends. She has no family. She's doing some crazy ass shenanigans. I don't know where the hell she's at right now. She's probably dealing with some sort of weird gang members or something like that. And so on and so forth. And that's what I want to say, is that Sinder, she doesn't belong in the VTuber scene. Sinder, with her psychology and stuff like that, that type of personality, that type of, like, I guess, psychological screw up, because I don't even know what happened in her personal life that made her go and, like, think this way. And it definitely is her personal life. It's like her family, her environment, and stuff like that. It's definitely there. She could have had drug addict parents. Her father probably could go. Her father and mother probably could went into prison. Maybe she had an abusive family. I really don't know. But what I do know is that something happened earlier on in her life that made her do this. And it says it in her it's proven in her DMs by her manipulation with these two guys that she is like this. That's her personality. The only two things that can happen with a person like Sinder is A, she gets off the internet and joins a criminal organization, or B, wind up dead 6 feet under. She only has those two options. In some cases, even though she's already going to go 6 feet under. She's not gonna live up to 60 years old, people. She'd be lucky if she lives up to 60. But I guarantee you she's not going to last until 40 years old. Because somehow, some way, somebody is going to off her from the face of the planet. Whether it be in the criminals organization that she joins, or she screws up again, and people start witch hunting her. That's it. Somebody is going to, and she's going to piss off somebody that's wrong. And they're going to put her 6 feet under. That's her destiny. That is the absolute truth about where Cinder is gonna go. That's the harsh reality. I'm sorry, you guys like are thinking. You know what? It's not gonna happen. Oh, it is gonna end up happening. Somebody's gonna end up taking a shotgun and shooting her in the head, because that's where Cinder's gonna go. From my experience of dealing with people like that. Okay. Now, will she be lucky? Will she be lucky to manipulate her way through like everything and last until the end of her time? Probably. But at the same time, she's not going to end up having like a wholesome kind of life. She's not. She's going to be running around scared. She's going to be, hiding and doing all this other stuff. And that's just the harsh reality about it. That's it. So, Cinder, I gotta let you know. I just gotta let you know. I'm not gonna call you my sister. None of these girls should call you a sister at all. You're a monster. You're a decrepit beast. And you have a long way to go before you can even think about Shy Lily and all them. Think about giving you forgiveness. Even for me. Okay, I still haven't forgiven my ex for putting me through all that shit. And this is you want to know how psychotic that Cinder could actually be? She could try to do this again. Oh, she's gonna try to do this again. She definitely is going to try to do this again because it's part of her personality. It's part of what she grew up with. And I'm going to say something that my ex's parents has taught me. Okay? This is from her family. Her blood immediate family. I'm going to tell you what her blood mother told me. Do not under any circumstances even acknowledge this person. And there's going to be a lot of people who are going to like say, oh, we're now that we know this information, we're going to end up sympathizing with Cinder. Don't sympathize with Cinder. And you know what the funny thing about it is? And this happened like with my extended family. There were people that actually offed themselves from. There were people like Cinder that offed themselves off the face of this planet. They self-deleted themselves off the planet. Sorry, Bo. I mean, you chose this life. You have no remorse for these people. You had no remorse for all these like people behind these like Vtuber models and stuff like that. If you decide to self-delete, go right ahead. Nobody fucking cares about you because you caused this so much damage. In fact, I would be happy if she self-deleted. I would be happy if my ex self-deleted. Because of the amount of damage that this person could do. That's the honest goodness truth. Because they are one of the most dangerous people in the entire freaking world. But hey, she'd be lucky if she ends up in prison. And for that, I would prefer her being in prison. For the rest of her life. I would prefer her to be in prison. Because the softy part of me wants her to be at least living a decent life. And maybe learning from her mistakes behind bars. But there's that demonic person on my side. From my own perspective, that just knows that if she's free in the world, she can do so much damage. It is insane. Anyways, that's probably gonna be my video. that in itself is. I mean, lock her up. Cool. Lock up Sinder. That's fine. That's fine. But at the same time, knowing people like Sinder and my ex, and the people that my uncle dealt with him, betraying him like Sinder did back in California, it may not be enough. It may not be enough. And you know what? Keep her locked up behind closed doors. Keep her locked up forever. Behind bars. That's cool. If you want to show sympathy to Sinder, advocate that she be behind bars forever. Okay? But knowing people like that, it's either she self-deletes because she does it voluntarily, or she gets into like a bad drug deal or something. I really don't know. Or she deals with some really bad people, and they, delete her from the face of this planet. She has a more than 50% chance of getting deleted off this planet by other people than her self-deleting. And there's like I would say a good 5 to 10% chance of her landing in prison for the rest of her life. That's just that's just my experience. Okay?
I'm sure your wishes will come true.
Me personally, I will never consider deleting somebody or somebody self-harming them unless they do something that is going to be totally harmful to the human race. And this is the one thing that I just am having a hard time struggling with. Right? On the one hand, I feel empathy for her because she had to deal with a degenerate family that raised her. Right? That's the thing. She had to deal with a degenerate family that raised her and nurture a behavior that I think Sinder should have never learned in the first place. Yeah, I'm gonna be real there. That part I can sympathize with her. Truly, honestly. And a part of me just wants her to be locked up forever. Behind bars. But knowing that she could do that much damage, I don't know, man. I really don't know. It's like the Guatemala prison? Yeah, like send her to the freaking Guatemala prison. With those what is it called? The MSN 13 gang members. Yeah, send her over there. Anyways, that's actually funny, Warzil. But yeah, I'm just like, it's fine. Gummizil. What? Is a German word? Wait, what? It's a German word? Hold on. Let me look at it. I mean, it's not a possibility. I think over here in the US we call it like, what is it called? Solitary confinement? But that's basically for people who are deranged, basically. And Sinder is not deranged. She's disgruntled, but she's not deranged. Yeah, but I see what you're talking about. Uh, yeah, no. Do I believe that there's hope for Cinder? Maybe. I would like to think so, but she's got a lot of work to do with herself psychologically.
Pay for anything
She has a lot of work, and she
I'm sure your
and she has to admit it that she has done some wrong, and she has to say herself that she's willing to change. But I gotta say, man, putting up with her antics for 10 fucking years? These girls have gotta be very fucking forgiving and very fucking patient for to redo Cinder.
thing would pay for anything specific for you, it would be my honor.
The only person
I'm sure your wishes
the only person that I can think of right now that could probably most likely oh god. Most likely have the patience to redo Cinder
pay for anything specific for you, it would be my honor.
wouldn't be Shy Lily.
I'm sure
Shockingly enough, it's not Shy Lily. The only person that could probably do it is probably the only person that got hurt the most. And that's Bao. I know, shockingly, right? The one person that this person that Cinder hurt the most, Bao. You would think Bao would actually end up having this type of like this type of patience and forgiveness, right? But that's the thing. Sometimes the person that is the most hurt, the most damaged, has a weird psychological kind of empathy grown to a person like Cinder, right? Because she was, in my opinion, I think Bao kind of now understands Cinder's psychology because while Bao was in the hospital, getting surgery, all this other stuff, because of her health and stuff like that, gives Bao more of an incentive to help Cinder out because now she can empathize with Cinder's, I guess you could say, misfortunes in life. Right? So I mean, it's a really risky endeavor to try to re-socialize with oh my god. I don't know how Bao would actually feel about that. Realistically, I don't know. But it's an unlikely scenario. Is it possible? Yes. Is she the most fundamental, like fundamental person within the friend group to actually help out Cinder? Realistically, yes. I mean, personally, with my experience with dealing with people like Cinder, I have some bad blood against people like Cinder. Okay? So I'm not the best person to do this. Okay? I'm definitely not the best person for the job. Let's be real here, people. I'll admit it. Okay, I'll admit it. But yeah, that's just it. But yeah, I'm actually glad that we're having this conversation at the beginning of the stream because now I've opened up Pandora's box. I've opened up eyes of everybody around here for people like Sinder. Okay, I really have. Whether everyone tries to help out Sinder, but just be careful. If you really want to help out Sinder, don't give her attention. By far, don't give her fucking attention. No matter what kind of like VTuber model she comes out with, don't give her attention. There's probably going to be some people out there that kind of like strayed away from this drama that would support somebody like Sinder. But I guarantee you that that these girls are going to find out, and I don't know what they're going to do. But from my standpoint, okay, I'm going to live up to my name of Tartar's Queen Dragoness. Okay? Brother, with me, destruction, taking souls, and digging holes is what I do best. Okay? So if these girls are not going to be the ones that actually end up saying something about the new new VTuber model and the revamp of Cinder's career, if these girls are not going to do it, yeah, damn Skippy, I'm the one who's going to end up doing it.